Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is Patty Chanel from Stamparatus, and I am stamping in my flops as I always am. We're having a blizzard today, so I got a snow day, and I thought what better way to make use of my snow day than to create a video on our brand new product called the Stamparatus. So whether you own one already or you have one on reserve and you're waiting for it, why not learn some tips and tricks before you get it to save yourself a little bit of headache? So I am going to take you through some tips, some features, some benefits of this tool, and then I'm going to show you the tool at work. So here we go. So first of all, our Stamparatus is different than any other stamp positioning tool that's out there. So if you already own one, don't think that you don't need a Stamparatus, because trust me, you do. Ours is unlike anybody else's. So your Stamparatus comes with a magnetic base. Let me get this apart here for you. Ooh, definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so it comes with a magnetic base that is all gridded out for you, of course with the Stampin' Up logo. On the back side, there are two slots. Those slots hold one each of our very powerful magnets. Tip number one, do not clap your magnets together. They will snap. I've already seen some posts on some of the demonstrator websites that are showing that the magnets snap. They are extremely powerful. Listen. Okay, so it's got some serious pull. Don't put them next to each other. So in addition to the magnetic base with the magnets and their proper storage space, you will have two acrylic plates that have what appear to be like hinges on them. And you should also notice that our Stamparatus base is open on two sides and has hinge spaces on two sides. This is unlike any other tool that's out there. The benefit of having the two open slots is that you can use any size paper that you want. 6 by 6, 12 by 12, 2 by 3 1/4. It doesn't matter, large or small, you will be able to use this tool. Okay, so what are we going to be looking at here? So having two acrylic plates actually gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 positioning locations for your stamps for your projects. So what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you how, if you were going to be mass producing a card and you wanted your stamp to appear in the same spot on every single card, that is a perfect use for this tool. Okay, so let's take a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one other piece that comes with your Stamparatus, and that is a little thin foam piece. This piece also has our Stampin' Up logo on it. This piece must be used if you are using photopolymer stamps. So if you're using just the traditional red rubber clear mount stamps, then you do not need this. This is used for photopolymer stamps. Now, this is a downside, but I'm going to tell you and I'm going to show you how I got away from this. So if I'm using red rubber stamps, I get that nice clear grid, so I'm able to see like where I'm lining my paper up. But if I'm using a polymer stamp, which is what I'm using for this project, and I need to use this foam mat, I don't get to see that grid anymore. So what I needed to do was I needed to focus on the grid that is engraved in my acrylic plate. So I am going to move the camera down and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay, so let's move our camera down and see if we can. I apologize, I don't want to be making anybody seasick here, but okay, so I have my base plate. Okay, there we go. My base plate. I am going to put my acrylic mat. Now, the first thing that I suggest so that you do not waste your great cardstock is to cut up some pieces of just regular computer paper. So I know that I'm going to be putting my image on white cardstock that is 2 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So I've just cut some scrap paper so that I can try it out. what I did was I lined up. You don't want to put your paper too close to the hinge. The playing that I've done so far, I have found that my image doesn't stamp as well because the hinge is a little bit in the way. So what I've done is I've used the corner of the pre-printed or engraved grid on my acrylic plate, and I've used that as my guide, and I've gotten my paper to kind of stay there. It's got a little static. So I'm using my magnet. I'm using my magnet at the top of that so that I know that my paper needs to go abutted against that top magnet. And then I am using my other magnet. Remember, I want to keep it kind of far away. So I'm putting my other magnet down at or on the side, but even with the bottom of my paper. All right. So you got to practice. You got to practice. So that's a little high. I mean, a little low. So let's move that up. Okay. So now with my magnets in place, hopefully you can see that. Now I have a guide by which to put my paper so that my image will be in the same place at the same time. So I'm using this magnet instead of to hold this little piece of paper down, I'm using it as my guide as to where to put my paper. So I'm putting it flush with the bottom magnet and I'm putting it against the top magnet. So now the next step is to take your image, in this case I'm using polymer. It's uninked. I've just taken it out of the stamp case. I'm putting it face down where I want it to be on my paper. And I am gently going to let it stick. Again, no worries because I know where it's going to go. I'm gently going to let it stick to my acrylic mat. So let me take that out so that you can see that I now have my stamp mounted to my acrylic mat. Okay, so for the first stamp, the first image go around, because I need to place my second image because this is a two-step stamping, I'm taking my ink pad, and in this case I'm using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I am inking up my image. So hopefully you can see that. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and stamp that on my computer paper, because remember this is my positioning. I'm practicing where I want to position it. Okay, so look what happened. I have no ink at the top of my flower. The beauty of this tool is that is not a reason for me to panic. It just means I can see ink on my stamp. It just means I didn't press it hard enough. So my paper is in the same position. I'm going to put my lid back down, and I'm going to make sure that I press my stamp in that location. And I still have one spot that I didn't get, so there we go. Sorry, moving the camera on you. Okay, now I have got my image nicely stamped. So now the second phase, because this is a two-step stamping set, is I'm going to take my top layer, which I'm going to be using the powder pink in color, and I'm going to place that image on top of where I'm going to want that to go. So that's going to be my second layer. So I am going to bring in my second acrylic pad, and I'm going to put it on my side hinge, and I'm going to let it get attached to my acrylic plate. Okay. Photopolymer stamps are sticky. Okay, so now when I want to mass produce this card, I have a matter of just changing my paper. So I'm going to inking up the black. I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to ink up my powder pink, and I'm going to stamp that, and I'm going to have a perfect image that I can then pull out, and then I take a new piece of paper and I put that in, and I can mass produce these, and they will all be in the same spot. Okay, so let's test our powder pink to make sure it's in a spot that we like. We're going to ink it up. Ta-da! Can you see that? Love it! Okay, so I'm pretty happy with it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my actual cardstock because I wanna show you just how easy this is. So I actually have a piece of Whisper White cardstock cut to the same dimension, 2 inch by 3 3/4. And I am going to put it in the spot that I have designated. I am going to ink up my outline image with my Memento Black. I'm also going to take the liberty of inking up my powder pink piece because I want to show you just how quickly this can work. So step 1, bring over the detailed image, press firmly, okay? Make sure you're getting all aspects, but if you don't, remember, don't panic. Sticky, okay. Beautiful, came out perfect. I'm gonna put it back in my little wedge there, and I'm going to then use my powder pink that I've already inked up. I'm gonna put that on. And I have a beautiful image, and I'm ready to reload it with another piece of paper. When I'm all done, I'm going to assemble this project and come out with an absolutely beautiful card. So I hope I have inspired you that using our new Stamparatus tool is easy. It makes your stamping consistent. And believe me, I've got lots more tips and tricks for you, but this was a 101 video. So make sure you tune into my YouTube channel, Stamp Patties, and check out my website, www.stamppatties.com, where I have lots of inspiration and other ideas for you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day.